The signs were there long before Shawn Pomrenke became Mr. Gold on Bering Sea Gold. Court run-ins and accusations of mistreatment hinted at a darker edge. Insiders, miners, and viewers began asking the same question: can he be trusted? Police reports and court filings, as cited in the original accounts, painted an unsettling portrait. Yet the cameras kept rolling, and audiences couldn't look away. Stay with this story because the picture that emerges around Shawn Pomrenke is more startling than you might expect. Nome, Alaska is nobody's idea of an easy family town. It faces severe weather, limited infrastructure, service gaps, and hazards like whiteouts, blizzards, and floods. It's in this hard place that Shawn Pomrenke was born on the 26th of March 1975, a kid who would go on to reshape the modern gold dredging game for better and worse. His father, Steve Pomrenke, was already deep in mining. All Shawn had to do was step into a track already laid. By 14, he was working the trade. The Pomrenke reputation grew from plain beginnings. Before Alaska, Steve lived a very different life in Minnesota, a diesel mechanic in St. Cloud, time in the Twin Cities, a repair shop, long stretches as a trucker. He first married Catherine M. Gray. They raised 3 kids, Shawn, Eric, and Nikki Pomrenke. In 1986, the same year Nikki was born, Steve moved the family to Nome, Alaska, taking a mechanic's job with a construction outfit, reviving dead machines. That skill set would prove priceless once mining gear entered the picture. He stayed 4 years until the company was sold. Early on, he found his first gold at Anvil Creek and caught full-blown gold fever. From there, father and son built what became one of Nome's most significant dredging operations. Steve launched Northwest Gold Diggers, LLC, placing his wife Christine and son Shawn as co-owners. It started as a family shop with big ambitions, but the road was rough. Steve's first mine was a disaster, near bankruptcy, a harsh lesson that in this business, a few wrong moves can wipe you out. Mining demands a tolerance for risk, and living that truth shaped Shawn from childhood. While other kids played, he was learning heavy equipment, reading ground, and understanding how to work underwater on the Bering Sea. The Nome mining scene grew from one of Alaska's biggest gold revelations. In 1898, the 3 lucky Swedes found gold on Anvil Creek, igniting a rush different from most. Here, gold could be scooped from beach sands with little digging. No claims at first, less effort, just gold. By 1900, the census tallied over 12,000 residents. Some estimates put it near 20,000. People arrived from everywhere. Historian Terence Cole called Nome one of the strangest boom towns in the American West. The district kept producing. From 1897 through 1959, the official tally cited more than 66,000 ounces. Over the decades, more than 6 million ounces have been recovered in the Nome area. And even now, mining continues, just shifted to the seafloor of the Bering Sea. Nome became known as the poor man's paradise. With basic gear, almost anyone could take a shot. That was the break the Pomrenkes needed. In summer, crews still worked Norton Sound, chasing daily chances. With an ounce bringing $1,800, a lucky week can hit $10,000. Shawn built a name by running a serious operation centered on the Christine Rose, a barge-mounted excavator dredge named for a relative of Steve's. Close to shore and able to dig deep, it was efficient and changed their fortunes. Moving huge volumes fast, unlike the many small rigs that defined Nome tradition, the Pomrenkes leaned into large-scale dredging, more capital, more crew, more infrastructure, but far more throughput. Powerful suction systems moved mountains of sand and sediment, setting them apart. Shawn's style was different from his father's. He ran with a sharper, profit-maximizing edge. In Nome, mining had long been a community effort. Respect, cooperation, sharing tips on promising patches, rallying for each other in emergencies. Shawn's posture felt more competitive than collaborative. At first, the frictions were subtle. Unwritten codes, bent or ignored. Environmental concerns whispered, what about impacts on fish, water quality, coastal stability? No formal complaint at first, but unease grew. For generations, no miners worked on handshakes, informal deals, and mutual respect. Shawn shifted toward legal contracts and tighter control. a defensible business choice that nevertheless frayed goodwill. When help was needed, relationships mattered. His approach strained those ties. Tensions rose. In December, a serious incident was reported in which Shawn backed out of a parking space and struck a pedestrian carrying groceries. According to the report cited at the time, instead of checking on the victim, he drove off and even gave a thumbs up to onlookers. He was arrested on 4 charges: DUI, failure to return to the scene, no insurance, and assault in the 3rd degree. Even in a tough industry, that image, thumbs up while leaving an injured person, landed like a gut punch in Nome, and that wasn't his only violent scrape in 2012. Earlier that year, a bar fight ended with Shawn stabbed in the back and hospitalized. Details were muddy, but the pattern, verbal fights turning physical, fit what other miners had noticed. Some chalked it up to jealousy over the Christine Rose. Others saw it as part of a broader confrontational streak. Either way, this wasn't just trouble follows him. It looked like trouble lives in him. By 2013, he was arrested again for DUI, this time allegedly clocked at over 100 miles/hour on the Nome Highway, changing lanes without signals. A breath test reportedly came back at nearly twice the legal limit. Speed and alcohol are a deadly mix. How much did he value his own life, let alone anyone else's? As these cases piled up, insiders began talking openly. Suppliers described payment delays and disputes. Other dredge owners recounted aggressive confrontations and questionable business dealings. On camera, he was Mr. Gold. Off camera, they remembered him as rich, intimidating, and not eager to be accountable. Workplace concerns cropped up too. Maintenance issues, safety shortcuts, and practices that could endanger crews. Mining is inherently dangerous. Safety standards are the line between going home and tragedy. Financial red flags followed: cash flow troubles, contractors waiting on checks, unpaid invoices. In a small town like Nome, word moves fast. Insurance and bonding questions surfaced as well. Proper coverage isn't optional. It's how you protect workers and the environment when things go wrong. People wondered what would happen if a major incident occurred under shaky policies. By then, the warnings weren't warnings anymore. Patterns were visible: legal scrapes, safety worries, overdue bills, and a community's trust wearing thin. Plenty of people could have acted earlier, but didn't. The Discovery Channel knew about legal dust-ups from the start. Headlines ran that a Bering Sea Gold star had been arrested for DUI after backing into a pedestrian and leaving. It wasn't buried. It arrived alongside the show. And yes, it drew attention, maybe even ratings. The network chose to keep Shawn front and center. Filming continued through arrests and court dates. Episodes tended to minimize or frame the trouble as setbacks, not as deeper warning signs. Reality TV thrives on a volatile lead. His temperament fed the narrative. Safety in Nome felt shakier. It wasn't just miners anymore. When a vehicle snagged a dredge cable stretched across a road, 2 Nome high schoolers brought a lawsuit. The sense grew that questionable behavior didn't carry consequences. City officials and regulators wrestled with permits, environmental questions, and safety violations. Their concerns had limits. They couldn't decide who starred on cable, but time has a way of catching up. On the 19th of March 2019, Pomrenke Mining LLC filed for bankruptcy in Alaska. The filing didn't shock people who'd been watching. Court papers described $52,000 in unauthorized withdrawals and other irregularities, messy lines between personal and business funds. TV can't shield you from creditors. Employees lost jobs. Investors lost money. Contractors were left exposed. The wider Nome community absorbed the fallout. Legal fights ate time and cash. Reputation took a hit. By then, few stood in his corner. The consequences weren't limited to Shawn Pomrenke. They rippled across crews, vendors, and families. Bering Sea Gold premiered on 27th of January 2012 on Discovery. Its hook: miners hunting gold on the seafloor off Nome. The show's DNA came from the team behind Deadliest Catch: extreme conditions plus big money stakes. Alaska's gold history, going back to 1899, gave it a built-in mythos. The franchise splits the year. Summer dredging airs in spring as Bering Sea Gold, while the spring dredge season runs in fall as Bering Sea Gold Under the Ice. Same cast, different hazards. Summer brings warmer dives. Winter means ice holes and darker risks. Production follows multiple operations at once. Competition and uneven luck create drama. For the producers, it's a heavy lift. Remote logistics, marine gear, underwater cameras, drones, safety teams, and coordination with the U.S. Coast Guard. Weather shuts days down. It's expensive television. Reality on this scale can run $400,000 to $1 million per episode. By October 2024, 224 episodes had aired. Viewership generally ranged from $800,000 to $5 million per episode. Steady numbers for Discovery. Fans love the real danger and payoff. Critics point to repetitive beats, similar dredging routines, conflicts that can feel recycled. Environmental groups have pushed back, arguing that suction dredging disrupts marine ecosystems, harms fish habitat, and scars seafloor, prompting tighter rules from the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. Injuries have happened, decompression sickness, equipment failures,